We are live.
Sorry, missed you today.
Sorry. We can get caught up.
I'm sorry?
He sent an email.
He's not coming.
He's not
coming?
Correct.
Yeah, no. You got an email on it. You need to ensure the tax probably don't.
But I can always make copies.
Okay.
Thank you.
Try not to.
Do we fill this money through?
Pictures. I bring the funds. Like picture.
Oh God, not this picture again. So you must have a different picture than I got
Why did you? You got a shirt for it, don't you? Actually, we can give them one. I will start without you. We'll just do that. Oh, yeah. you can use this. Okay, it's 6:03. I'll call the Kalkaska Village Council regular meeting April 10th to order. And please do a roll call.
Certainly. Larson,
Yes.
Bishop,
Here.
Dunham,
Here.
Miller,
Here.
Moses is absent, Needham,
Here.
Yance.
Here.
Okay, we stand for the pledge, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we need approval of the regular agenda.
I would like to make the motion with the addition of item M, discussion of meeting location.
Discussion of who?
Meeting location.
Oh, where is this thing?
Can I add it as item M?
We need to add that, or it's just gonna be brought up?
Yeah, she'll have to add it and we'll take a vote to approve the agenda as amended.
Do you support that, Bobby? Sorry to cut you off.
No, I'll support it.
Second.
Too late.
Second support.
Third. You all set on there?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes.
motion and support.
Motion.
Okay, all in favor
Support.
of our regular agenda, say yes.
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 Anybody opposed? Motion passed. Consent agenda, board members can request certain items to be removed from the consent agenda for discussion. The motion is in order to adopt all items not removed. After the motion is passed, discussion will occur on those items previously selected for removal. Any motion on that?
I'll move. I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Anybody opposed? Motion passed. Brief public comments. Anybody, brief public comments? Butterfly lady.
Oh, I'm not the butterfly lady. She can go
That's
first.
No, you go.
I'm gonna stand up just so I can see all of your faces. My name is Tiffany, and I see that all of you have one of these copies of the backyard livestock ordinance. I just wanted to bring that up because my name is Tiffany and the couple. There's my husband and I, and we have 3 kids. We moved to the village in 15. And we are interested in raising chickens and maybe rabbits. And so I have spent some time putting together just a short proposal for you guys. The first page has the current ordinance. I appreciated an exchange, an email with Mr. Popa, kind of letting me know what the current determination standards were for what you have right now. I spoke with the code enforcement officers in Traverse City, so obviously a much larger community, and then also in East Jordan. because they are very comparable in terms of size and their household income. And both of them had very high praises for the change that they've made. Traverse City, he said that since taking his office in 2014, he's had fewer than 10 complaints regarding backyard chickens and livestock. And in East Jordan, they adopted it nearly 6 years ago, so in May it'll be 6 years. And he said very few complaints, maybe 12 households out of about 1,000 in their community participate in the program. And he gets 1 to 2 maybe of every 50 complaints that his office fields are related to backyard livestock. So I feel like those are very promising and encouraging things. For my family specifically, we feel like there's so many advantages in terms of connecting as a family, raising our own food, having healthy food, access to food. We all know that prices are going up, access to many produce and products at the grocery store are going down, and we care very much about the quality and access in our home. Connecting with our kids 4-H, Kalkaska is a hub for the county fair. Village kids can't participate in raising in livestock if they don't have that allowed in the village. So I think we should have that. The character building opportunities through perseverance and creativity, leadership, ownership, all of those things are very valuable to us. And I think for our community as a whole in raising kids, there's economic impact when we spend money locally for feed and supplies. We're supporting our local businesses. More money spent here means more money stays here when we have more jobs, more consumer options. There are environmental impacts in terms of having access to high quality fertilizer for your flowers or your vegetables, pest control in your yard, and kitchen waste. So I would like to request that the subcommittee, your larger committee, consider making a change. I know that this was recently approved last year, that the current standing, but I would like us to be able to have further discussions about allowing village families to raise their own livestock. So I don't know what else you have for me, but
Huh?
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, go ahead.
When you said I think it was with East Jordan that
yeah.
you said participate with the program, do they have a registration or something?
I can't, I just,
Or is that just how you said it?
my
Okay.
verbiage, yes, but I did, so I emailed this to you, I know you all have it printed, but I emailed it to ENG so that she could distribute it, because you'll see on page 3, I've done a lot of the work for you, and if you go into the Word document, there are live links here that you can look at any of these Northern Michigan communities and see how they have worded their ordinances and what's working well for them. And I've made a proposal for an ordinance on the bottom of the first page based on what I've read and spent time researching through these other local communities.
You haven't done very much research.
I know, sorry, not enough, but I do have 3 kids at home. So I tried to take a lot of the work away from you and help support you in your own research, but that's what I'd like to talk more about.
Okay, thank you. Here's some thought, I guess.
You set up an ordinance committee?
Can I be notified when that happens?
Let me do that.
It'd make most sense.
Would anybody want, I need 3 people,
Oh,
anybody
wait.
want to be on ordinance committee for that?
You have
We have one.
We are.
Oh, you have one.
That's
right,
we do have an
Huh?
ordinance.
We have an ordinance committee.
On this?
Yes, I'm on
An
it.
ordinance committee. We had the committee to review all the ordinances. That would be the one to use.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, big, yeah,
Trent
big
Bobby
basins on it
makes-
too. So, yeah, the chair of it.
Okay.
It's a new committee.
I want to.
Yes, it
is.
Christ.
It is kind of new, yeah.
Okay. Any other brief comments?
Angie, did you write your contact info?
Yes.
Thank you.
Forgetting about.
Oh, the butterfly.
I'm Sarah. I'm from the Conservation District, Butterfly Lady. I do more than that. Yeah, from the Conservation District Community Outreach. I was just here to present you all with Kalkaska is now officially a Monarch City. So Monarch Village USA. We got like the signage and stuff. I think last year I just got hired onto the Conservation District in end of February. But I believe last year you guys had like a meeting about like, yeah. So we officially paid the membership dues. We got all the signs. I think we have 6 signs, and then there's like the option to get more if we want more, but when the ground starts to thaw and all that good stuff, we can figure out like spots to put all those little, they're like speed limit signs, like about that big, and they say like Monarch Village USA. So put those around town, and yeah. So this is for you guys. I don't know if you want to like hang it up here or something. We're not married to the frame, so you can get rid of that if you want, but.
I will tell you the unfortunate part is that will not allow us to put them on their right of way.
Oh, man. All right, well, you'll have to find a good spot for it.
But
I mean,
Renee sent us an email about a butterfly meadow. Do you know
Maybe
anything about that, or garden?
maybe, yeah.
Because that's something we would definitely we have a place to do it, so let's
Oh,
discuss.
yeah.
Let's get together.
Yeah,
Tell her
for
to get
sure.
a hold of us and.
Okay, do you have a card? And I can take that, and then, I don't know, do you guys want me to leave this with you? Is there a spot in here to have it?
Right here.
Yeah, but, just wanted to come quickly and announce that for you guys, because I think that's kind of been, long time coming. Yeah, so I think there's only a few places in Michigan. I know Elk Rapids, and then I believe like a suburb of Detroit are like officially like Monarch City. So
You know the spot for one, right over by the elementary school, what's that?
yeah, that like little flower garden.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're always looking
Yeah.
for something to put there.
Right, and then we were thinking probably by like the signs like coming into Kalkaska, like at the welcome to Kalkaska signs, probably put a couple at the different spots there. But yeah, we're open to suggestions. So I guess when time comes to start putting them out, we'll come to another meeting and we can talk about that.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
That's cool.
I do have to go. So thanks for having me.
All the funds you have to go.
I'd love to stay. Have a good night, guys. Thank you.
Ms. Yost.
Good evening, Scott Yost, 407 South Cherry Street. 4 items that I'd like to address on the agenda. I'll be very rapid and very brief. Item number 1, trustee from Fairlake Township, Jim Knight, is here tonight, I believe, to talk about the camp railing expansion. I would urge you to listen carefully to what he says and consider it. Also, in your packet is a 5-page document, a 5-page memo from the DEQ, now known as EGLE, where they indicate they do not support the camp railing expansion. It's a well-written document, and it lays out clearly the reason that they propose. As the leaders of the largest incorporated community in this county, I would urge you to take the lead on that and support his efforts. Second item, the Planning Commission met last Thursday on April 6th to consider 3 rezoning requests from residential to medical. 1 would be appropriate in my estimation, the other 2 would be inappropriate. Also in your packets were the minutes from the Planning Commission meeting. It was a mini tutorial on how the Planning Commission and this council can and should view rezoning requests. That was in your packets as well. Third item on the cash summary, and this is just a curiosity I have, it doesn't need to be answered directly tonight, but the RRI fund shown under the sewer fund, well, there are actually 2. One is a negative balance and a positive balance. Just curious if there's some rebalancing going on. Number 4, or already at number 4, Village Ordinance 2023-009. I see that there's a reduction of the president's duties where he will not be required to, as it says, endeavor to provide public access via scheduled office hours. Is there a commensurate reduction in compensation? The president is compensated $1,205 per month. No doubt a fair amount for the duties of the president, but it seems that the compensation maybe should be edited also to reflect a reduction in duties. Thank you. I'll be here throughout the meeting. I realize that during these meetings, we don't encourage a discussion between the audience and the council, but if you should see fit to call on me, I would answer any questions you have that I'm capable of. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Okay.
Yeah, I'm Connie Carrier from the hospital with Kalkaska Memorial Health Center, and the 3 adoptions of ordinances for the zoning changes to the medical district were part of my presentation last Thursday night at the village planning and zoning meeting. There are some changes that I would like to see perhaps made, and the hospital would like to see made to the medical district, and I would be more than interested in perhaps looking at the future land use master plan. I did ask Andy for a copy of it today. so we can look at it, really become much more familiar with it. But there are a couple things to the medical district that we really do not need, and as the medical district really applies to the hospital, we really don't need it to have any cannabis ability. We don't want to be a medical marijuana distributorship, and so that's not anything we're interested in. And I'd be interested in any help that we could give with the medical district changes. So I would recommend that perhaps we look at that down the road, just to kind of be more open and more people looking at that and being aware of it. And again, any questions you've got about the hospital, please don't hesitate to ask me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll move on. Presentation, discussion by Bear Lake Township, trustee Jim Knight, Camp Railing expansion.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jim Knight. I'm from Bear Lake Township. I'm the trustee. I apologize because I'm behind you here, so I don't know what to do. Like I said, we have been after this, Mike and I and several of us have been after this for over 10 months now. And I don't know how much you know about this proposed expansion from Camp Grayling, but right now they have 230 square miles to train on, and they approached the Department of Natural Resources about a year ago, actually over a year ago, and discussed expanding the camp, and they came up with a figure of 162,000 acres, which would more than double their size right now. Right now, Camp Grayling is the largest training facility in the country. There hasn't been another state in this country that has given more to the military than Michigan. Now, they have to train on 230 square miles right now, and they haven't really said why they need to expand. They just said they need space. We've pressed them for answers of why, and they just said, well, we just need space. And then there was the Deep Business Magazine article that you folks all have. It states in there, Colonel Myers' phone is ringing off the hook. And right now, they are subleasing ground right now, 1,500 acres for $150 a day, 3,000 acres. And his phone is ringing off the hook from the defense contractors because they are here to try out and develop their experimental weapons with little or no oversight. And that's stated in that magazine. And Deep Business is a nationally syndicated magazine. So clearly they were interviewed with that, and I provided that with everybody in the room. Now, we believe that that's exactly what they want to use this property for, and it's for electronic warfare. One of the things that is a very big concern for us. Just to give you an idea of what that is, of what I know what it is, if you can remember about 4 or 5 years ago, State Department workers were in Havana, Cuba, and they were targeted with a microwave signal. This is part of electronic warfare. They did not know this, became ill, eventually had to leave their jobs and couldn't function. And even today, they struggle day to day. This is electronic warfare. Our enemies have it, we have it. We need it, and yes, we need everything for our soldiers to train on and be up to date to defend our country. And that's not what this is about. I have someone here with me today. None of this group is anti-military. And if you would consider a resolution to oppose this, it doesn't mean you're anti-military. You're strictly going to oppose this proposal of 162,000 acres of public land, our public land. 3 watersheds are right in the middle of this, the Osable, the Muskegon, and the Manistee rivers. They have enough land to train on, and they haven't justified why they need this expansion. If you have any other questions on the military side of this, Lieutenant Colonel Mike McNamara should retire. He's going to speak right after I get done. But if you would please consider adopting a resolution. As you can see by the map, there are 57 government entities that are opposed to this in a resolution form. We would appreciate number 58 coming right here from the village of Kalkaska. Thank you very much.
As Jim said, my name is Mike McNamara. I was born and raised in Grayling. My father worked full-time for the National Guard, retired as a colonel. I did as well. It was hard for me, originally, it was hard for me to because I was a huge advocate of Camp Grayling, and I still am. It's not about being anti-military. If I thought for 1 minute that this would save one soldier's life, I'd be first in line to stand in line to support the expansion. But it's not about that. It's not about training soldiers. It's not about training troops and preparedness for war or federal or state emergencies. It's about legacy building. It's about putting stars on helmets. And it's about these businesses that the adjutant general is friendly with that now are up here training on our public land. So all of us, if we want to snowmobile, ORV, mushroom pick, fly, kite, some of our ability right now is limited. And the guard will say, no, it's not. Well, I can show you more fences that have been put up in the last 10 years. I can show you lakes that have been fenced in. I can show you gates that just last fall, even though they're not gating anything. But there's a contract for about 18 gates get put up by a gate company out of the Grand Rapids area. So my point is, they say on one hand that we're not going to limit any activity, but they said that to us in 1984 when they took 50,000 acres of our public land and they manage it with a DNR. Any funds go to the DNR for lumber or whatever, but they manage it, and then they put up big red signs, and anybody that's an ORVer or at least out and about has seen in Kalkaska, east side, west side of Crawford, hundreds and hundreds of these yellow picket signs saying no ORVs. Now, again, the guard put those signs up. They paid for them, they put them up. So when they tell you that they're not going to limit your access, that may sound good, but it's not in reality. And again, even if the camp commander was the most honest guy in the world today, the next one comes in may not be. So, I could talk for 3-4 hours. I could write a thesis for my master's degree on the same topic, on probably 4 different topics, and have 4 different theses. But at the end of the day, it's not Mike McNamara's opinion. And when we look at that map and we look at the 57, hopefully 58 elected bodies that have stood up, even down in the thumb, because of the air expansion. But when we look at that many, we couldn't be that good of fibbers or salesmen. Those people, we've all done our research. The reason we're coming to Kalkaska Village a little later in life is because it wasn't an oversight. It was just part of our plan. It is imperative. I'm coming to you at the 0 hour asking for a resolution. But I'm asking for it because it's got the governor's attention. It's got the attention of the director of the DNR. We just got off the phone earlier this afternoon with the governor's office. And her representative, who is a senior executive, said, what you're doing is working. It's getting the governor's attention. You've got to be able to give her and the director of the DNR, Shannon Lott, as much ammo as you can to be able to say no. And that's what we're trying to do, is get them an easy out politically so they can just say no. We have too many communities against it. I'll be here all night until the end of your meeting. After your meeting, if anybody has any questions of me, you can ask. We normally have a 15-minute canned presentation, but you guys live here, been hearing it for the last 10 months just like we have. I don't need to belabor the information, but if you have any questions at all, I'll be here all night. Thank you very much for your time, and really, it's important that we do this quick if we're going to do it. I can't put any pressure on you. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I'll move on to Bill's Finance Committee.
Finance met today at 4:30 to just go through the invoices and review the bills, as well as some other bids that we reviewed. And we reviewed the invoices in the amount of $1,124,000, $791.46. And we recommend to pay the bills in the amount of $45,870.77. And that is the motion.
I'll second.
Any good discussion on that? Any good discussion? You can vote on that.
Certainly. Bishop,
Yes.
Dunham,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Moses is absent, Needham,
Yes.
Yams,
Yes.
Larson.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you.
We also discussed some bids, which I do not believe are on the agenda themselves. So we should discuss them here. So we reviewed, bids to replace the garage doors,
Over.
the garage door openers, thank you. And, we recommend, find my paper tonight. We recommend to move forward with Cadillac garage door, their bid. I wanna say the amount, but I have to add some numbers together real quick. I didn't write them down.
Oh, there you have two.
Oh,
Yeah, we
Oh, yeah.
another page.
Well, one's
Oh,
10,496 and one is
Yeah.
2,150.
What's that one? 10?
12,656 dollars.
What is it?
12,646.
12,646.
Yeah, you said
56.
46.
46, okay. So that is, a motion to accept this bid on Cadillac garage door for $12,646.
I'll support. And on top of that, as we went through these bids, if you look at one, you may see one that looks a little bit different. But make sure you read all the print. One of them said, well, in case this happens, then there's gonna be an extra charge. And in case this happens, there's gonna be an extra charge. And in the long run, Cadillac spread out everything.
Cadillac put
Very-
everything in
Very
black and white.
clear, very precise.
The math worksheet, so there's 6 doors that need to be done and a door repair. So each quote is laid out a little bit differently. So Cadillac was actually the middle quote, but they did come out and do a site visit and review the work before putting together the bid. Yep. Was that a support?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
gave
you
it
did.
one right now.
Support. Anybody got any other questions? Take a roll call.
Certainly. Dunham,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Moses is absent, Needham,
Yes,
Yams,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Larson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay.
Well, we have more,
Oh,
sorry.
we're done yet.
Sorry, I didn't speak up fast enough. We also
Come on.
reviewed telephone service bids, and we recommend to move forward with 186 Networks. They have a little bit of a higher installation cost, but lower monthly, and we can get internet through them for free. That's my motion, is to accept the bid from 186 Network.
I'll second.
Any discussion on it? Thank you.
It's the same speed, if not better.
It's the same or better. The big problem is the upload speed with Charter is super low. We're on a really old plan, and if we increase that plan, it's going to go be almost $500 a month. And
That's the Kalkaska Wi-Fi,
we actually,
or is that for here,
No, that's for the office here.
just for the office?
yes. So we actually, the other day, we pulled the Charter off, put the 186 in to actually try it, and the speed, the upload was the same, but the upload was almost 20 times faster. The download was similar.
What does the village use? Same, does it use Charter as well, for the Kalkaska Wi-Fi?
There's no.
Oh, we're talking about the library in Railroad Square.
Oh, that's through the library.
Okay.
You all done?
We're done with that motion.
That was our motion.
No more discussion?
Nope.
Miller,
Yes.
Moses is absent, Needham,
yes.
Yams,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Dunham,
Yes.
Larson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Then we discussed the pothole repair bids, and we make a motion to accept the bid from Waste Recovery Systems.
Let me clarify,
Uh,
potholing.
pot-
It's not potholes like in the road,
Yeah,
it's potholing that we have to excavate dirt from water services to make sure there's no leak.
for the total of $124,575, or $755 per potholing, spread out over 2 years.
That's required by the,
Eagle. We have to check 165 services. Even though we know we don't have it, we have to prove it.
So we went with this bid because as Diana mentioned earlier, GFL's base rate was lower, but they had a condition in there that if they hit anything hard,
Clay or stone or.
that there would be additional costs, and they did not specify what that cost was. So, we are recommending this one.
Yes.
So also the middle, yeah, maybe support it. It's the middle bit.
The middle one, yeah.
All set?
Roll call vote. Moses is absent. Needham,
Yes.
Yance,
yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Dunham,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Larson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Yeah, and the other two items, the fee schedule and the deficit elimination plan are on our agenda, so I didn't know if you just wanted to do them when we got there.
Oh,
We wanted to do
they're
that.
on the other part, okay.
Yeah, they're on this one. So that's all.
That's it?
Yeah,
Sure.
to be continued.
I'll move on before I change your mind. Okay, Housing Development Committee. Have anything?
So discuss short-term rental, we got further research needed before moving on with discussion to allow or disallow. There's no recommendation at this time.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, Ordinance Review Committee.
So we got a preliminary review of the village ordinance for possible amendments. Review proposed amendments to several regulatory ordinances. Recommendation to the village council ordinance amends to consider under new business. And consider adoption of ordinance 2023-006 amendment to zoning ordinance to rezone property 502 Second Street.
Well, those are all on
Right.
there. So you don't have to go through those right now.
That's all right. Yeah, we're gonna do all that.
Yeah, they're all under new
I think they're
business.
all of your packets.
Under new business, yeah.
Under new business.
A lot of them were ordinances that are from like 1961 and 67. One of them was you can't have the bathroom towels where you roll down the towel anymore. You know,
Health insurance.
Some don't remember that. Nobody died over it, you know, we're all healthy.
You go there.
Anything else? Okay, Personnel Committee.
So we met on March 24th to discuss office hours of operation, specifically about Friday. And we do not have a recommendation. We were at an impasse between us. So we discussed the pros and cons and complications and authority of that decision.
Okay,
Oh, and we also discussed a personnel issue as well. Topic. No recommendation. All done.
Thank you. Police report.
So we're still accepting applications for the police department.
I'm sorry, very top is Public Works Committee, just before your continuation of
Yeah.
committees, it's Public Works Committee.
Oh, yeah.
It's at the top.
Stuck it up there on the top. Public Works Committee.
That's you.
We consider requests from a business owner for an REU adjustment on his water bill, from changing it to, I believe it was 9 to 1, as the building, specifically it was the Up North Grill. It has been vacant for a number of months, and he requested that he basically be reduced to what the RU1, which would make it a base rate since he hasn't been there. Our recommendation is to basically adjust his bill, and lower it in the amount of $396.53 for future billing cycles until, obviously, until the building's occupied or something else goes there.
Can you make a motion on that thing? Right?
Oh, yeah, that's our motion.
Support on it?
I'll support it.
Any discussion on it?
So the motion is to reduce in that amount and change the REU to 1?
Yes.
All right.
I don't know, do we need to
Is-
add future billing cycles until the building becomes occupied? I mean, should we probably,
No, we'll take it.
we'll take it as is? Okay.
Is that something that we do when buildings become unoccupied? That's-
Yeah, because he's paying
There's
for the amount
precedence?
of people that are coming in. Yeah, it's the same thing we did for the Coliseum for the lack of the pool.
But like if a restaurant building is closed, we,
And he's not asking us to go backwards, he's asking to change it from this point.
I just hadn't remembered coming across it before, so I wanted to ask.
You vote on that?
Certainly. Needham,
Yes.
Vance,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Dunham,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Moses is absent, Larson,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, move on to police report.
We've only had one application still for the police department, and I found out the other day there are 4,000 job openings for police officers in the state of Michigan. So that might be why I haven't seen many applications. So, but we're not in a huge hurry. And we're gonna make sure we get somebody that we wanna have in our department.
What?
Yeah. So,
Okay. Manager's report.
Working on, we've got all the paperwork to the title company for the purchase of 131 South Cedar Street and 221 South Cherry Street. We're just waiting on a closing date and the availability of the president to go sign those, so we can get those through the grant process to remove them. Those are houses that are covered under the blight grant, so the purchase price, the destruction, everything in that grant is covered under that grant. So at the end of the day, it's a net zero cost to the village, or close. We've made contact with the county. We have one lot out at Log Lake, at the very end of their property, right next to the boat launch, that actually belongs to the village of Kalkaska for some reason. Approached them, and they are going to work on their board, getting paperwork together, and we're probably going to just transfer that to them. And then they can proceed with that. They actually have money allocated to fix that campground, and this will help them do that. And it'll get us off our liability. Have an enforcement order started with Mr. Graham's office on the residents on Lynn Street that has all the broken down cars and the pallet fence. He's been cited 3 times. He's paid every citation, and still the problem. So we're going through the court process now. So we have a court order that if it doesn't get fixed, we can go fix it and bill him for it. Gravel and road patch. We just found out that we can actually purchase through the road commission at a substantially discounted rate as to what we were paying to Elmer's to bring it to us. So we're just going to do the same thing we do with them with sand and gravel and salt. or sand and salt for the winter time. We'll just pay their rate, they'll load it, and we'll just get billed from them every month based on what we use at a much lower rate.
Good deal.
They're gonna load it too.
For what?
They're gonna load it too.
Yeah. Yeah, they do because they'll scale it. They have a scale on their loader bucket, so they know exactly what they're doing.
So we were gonna get that, do these corners.
Yep.
Okay. Not much on my report, everything, Aaron said we've been talking about, so we're moving in the right direction on a lot of things. Unfinished business, do you have any new business?
I have a question on you were talking about the address on Cedar Street. So there's 3 more houses then that are still,
The White House and the garage that is north of the White House are both one. We're buying both of them.
and the other 2 we're waiting for basically the taxes to get paid.
No, they're being paid. They're current occupied, the rose colored one, I'm gonna call it. The purple one has issues that I'm trying to contact the owner about, but I'm working on that.
Thank you.
Oh, and I sent dangerous structure letters to the Seating Hotel and the State Bank building owners. Same owner, but the Seating Hotel, you can actually see through the wall into the building. There are that many bricks missing, and the State Bank has brick and chunks of brick
Well,
falling off.
there was water coming out of the side of the building, but it rained so hard.
So they've been sent a registered letter on the dangerous structure.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get that straightened out. Okay, under new business. A, consider adoption of ordinance 2023-006. Amendment to zoning ordinance to rezone property at 502 Second. Should we combine that with a C?
No,
This is gonna be the same
it's just
thing.
doing.
One other thing. Would you explain that?
So I gave everybody two colored maps, and I'll explain what they are. If you're looking at this one, this is what the hospital sent me. So the ones that are in red on this map have already been rezoned. They were done in, was it 15, Angie? 14. In 2014, those red ones were rezoned to medical district. The blue ones are the ones that they're currently asking to rezone. And then if you look at the other map, which is the future land use map, the light blue area right here is what the future land use map shows as the medical district. So what you're gonna see is this property and this property, which are in the tan area, are 2 of the ones, are A and C on your list. They are not in the area that the future land use map calls for medical. The address on letter B is this section right here, which is consistent with the future land use map.
A is not, B is.
A and C are not,
Are not.
B is.
B is, but A and C.
Well, for
You
the
got any
motion,
explanation on that? Or no?
Can I answer? The A and C, speaking as a citizen now, are, as your manager has told you, are not consistent with the future land use map. That would be the 3rd pillar that you need to use whenever you view any rezoning or alteration to your zoning document. However, item B, as the manager has indicated, is consistent, and it would be proper to grant that if you so desire.
I'll make the motion to adopt this so we can open it for discussion. Adopt ordinance 2023-006.
I'll second for discussion.
So the ones, just to make sure I understood correctly, the ones in red here with the little stars, those were changed to medical district in 2015.
Correct.
Okay, 2014.
14.
Okay, thank you. And Oh, I see the,
That one's
addresses
actually
on there now. Can we get a summary on the, reasoning for 502 Second Street to be added to the medical district?
Maybe
502.
Say it again. Another dinner.
Is that just a comment?
If I can. Or, zoning people here, what was the reasoning for 502 Second Street?
So in our master plan, the light blue area is what we have down for the medical district. Everything that's outside that is not, so this is not part of the medical district at all. This is what they're proposing to change to that, is that what my
Let
understanding?
me explain. So A and C, the planning commission forwarded a motion not to recommend the zoning changes on those two. So
Wait, so this amendment would be against the planning
Angie, how does this,
recommendation?
I don't have it in front of me, how does the ordinance that you wrote for A and C look?
The ordinance is written, if the ordinance is adopted, then that's an
It would be
approval
resolved.
of the, correct,
Okay,
yes.
so if you adopt this ordinance, it's not consistent with the
With
future
what?
land use map.
And what zoning recommended?
Correct.
They recommended to not accept it.
Correct.
Okay.
Even though the properties both are adjacent or abut up to medical.
Correct.
Because it's outside of the land use map, right? That's the piece that I missed.
Correct. And the reality is we're legally responsible. Like we said, this is what we're going to do, so legally speaking, this is what we have to do. The right way would be the way that Ms. Ferrier talked about at the beginning, and if we're gonna go different than this, we need to change this first. That would be the only proper way to do it.
Okay, I understand. Thank you. I have no further questions.
Connie, what are we gonna use those properties for?
It really depends upon what's happening with the health center at the Coliseum.
Oh,
One thing
that's
that
right.
we're noticing is, we need more physical therapy space and different physical therapy space. And so we have been working with the Coliseum, it's not a secret, to try to build a therapy, pool over there and some therapy, treatment there. If that does not work, then we wanted a contingency plan to probably put the, extra gym or extra physical, space there for physical medicine. So we would do like our cardiac rehab, our PT appointments there and empty out the basement and probably move our lab to the basement. Our collection stuff would stay upstairs, but the lab would go there. And the Greenman property off First Street, we're looking at using that for a building that we will own and work with community mental health with.
Do you got anything else on that?
So
So make a motion on it?
do you want me to,
So I made a motion to accept it, so now we would vote on that, right?
correct.
And
And if the
voting,
motion is to accept, then we are rezoning it inconsistently with master plan. If we vote not to accept,
They can vote no.
correct, and that's why I just want to make sure,
Yes.
right,
because
so,
it's kind of confusing how it's written, so.
right, so voting yes would be to rezone property 502 Second Street is the one we're on. And voting no would be to not rezone.
That's correct.
Everybody else have any?
Did everybody ever second it?
Yes.
So we can discuss.
Want to take a vote?
Yes, I will take a roll call vote with the for the adoption of this ordinance. Jens,
No.
Bishop,
No.
Dunham,
No,
Miller,
No,
Moses is absent. Needham?
Yeah, no. No.
Thank you. Larson?
No.
Motion fails.
I do have a question there, though. What is the process if we do want to change the map?
We would have to go back through as a council and probably start with the committee and change the master plan.
Okay.
Because it's,
We're
is
doing
it
that
5
now,
years,
right?
Angie?
5 years, yeah.
Five.
5
It would
years.
involve public hearings as well.
The current one doesn't expire till 25. We started in
Yeah.
20.
Council, it's not your fault that the health center board bought properties that were not zoned properly. You have no obligation to resolve that. You do have an obligation to uphold and not allow the zoning ordinance to be eroded.
Okay, move on to B, consider adoption of ordinance 2023-007, amendment to zoning ordinance to rezone property at 402 First Street.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Discussion on that?
This is
And
the
this one is
This one is-
consistent.
This one is,
Yes.
yeah.
I think we're all on the same page now.
Yeah.
The yeses and the nos.
I'll take vote.
Certainly. Bishop?
Yes.
Dunham?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Moses is absent. Needham?
Yes.
Yams?
Yes.
Larson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, C, consider adoption of ordinance 2023-008, amendment to zoning ordinance to rezone property 420 Birch Street.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Discussion.
This is one outside of
This
the
is-
plan,
yeah.
like,
This is a not one. Yeah. Take vote, Angie.
Certainly. Dunham?
no.
Miller?
No.
Moses is absent. Needham?
No.
Yams?
No.
Bishop?
No.
Larson?
No.
Motion fails.
Okay, can I face my hospital board now this next week?
Okay, E,
I'll sit on that one too.
consider adoption orders 2003, or 2023-009, amendment to Title 3, administration of the village code of ordinance.
Oh, look, there it is.
I know, I just had it.
That's the only, the changes are in red, right?
Oh. I will make the motion, we can open for discussion to adopt ordinance 2023-009.
I'll second it. No, let Bobby have it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody got questions on it? Can you vote on it?
No, we discussed
I
it.
did have a question, on the clerk. The term is changing to be 6 years instead of reviewed each even number of years. I'm gonna assume the answer is yes, but was that guided by village law or
It's
best
within the
practice?
village law, but when I read that ordinance, I asked Angie when the last time when she was appointed. It was on her hire date.
Yeah.
So I also reminded her that she owes us all her pay since that day. You're officially the ballot,
Did she-
but we
did she
thank her
buy
for
all
her
the
time.
dish?
I did, I bought her lunch, I felt guilty.
And then for the treasurer, let's just make it consistent.
Yes, because they were completely different than, even though the village law is the same, the ordinances in our ordinance were not. And
Isn't that
logically, I would think they should be.
And the treasurer role, we form to be held by the same person as our accountant, so this would deal with the treasurer part of that. Those were all my questions.
Can you vote on it?
Okay, take a roll call vote for the adoption of ordinance 2023-009. Miller?
Yes.
Moses is absent. Needham?
Yes.
Yams?
Yes.
Bishop?
Yes.
Dunham?
Yes.
Larson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, item B, consider adoption of ordinance 2023-010, amendment to Title 5, Public Works of the Village Code of Ordinance.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I have a question, on page 6 of this one, on item C, request for discontinuance or return of service. What was the reasoning behind moving it to a verbal request instead of?
Because that's how we've been doing it.
Okay.
We just made them consistent with what we're doing. And when they get the verbal request, they do a work order, so it's still documented, it's still tracked. It's just not necessary to make them put it in triplicate.
You have one thing?
I didn't find it again though. Page 3, we're talking about a work order should be generated and its immediate replacement. We haven't done that before.
That's how we do it currently, correct?
Correct. I was gonna say, I thought we did that.
All of the DPW stuff in this section that we changed is to make it consistent with how we
I was
actually
gonna
do
say,
it.
I thought we did that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we've discussed all this, it's just a matter of.
Okay, getting up
And
there
that's-
ourselves.
And that's why I started going through these is there's stuff in here that we're not doing. And that's not the right way to do business. If
No.
we're gonna have a rule, we should be
Yeah.
doing, we should follow
I
it, we
agree,
expect
that's
everybody
why
else
I
to
asked,
follow it.
yep.
Anything else? There you go.
Second. Moses is absent. Needham,
Yes,
Yance,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Dunham,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Larson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, F, consider adoption of ordinance 2023-011, amendment to title, I think that's a 9, general regulations of the village code of ordinances. You guys got any questions on it?
I'll make the motion to adopt ordinance number 2023-011.
I'll second.
Any discussion on it?
No, I like that.
this just looks like to me like another one updating yourselves.
Yeah, it's
Instead of having the health
the
officer. and-
open fire.
Well, the problem with that is we said in there that we give a permit, which we don't even have a permit, and we wouldn't issue it anyway. Because the houses are too close together to be burned.
And the health officer.
It hasn't existed, and I don't know if there ever was one.
I
but-
don't think, not since I've been around here.
Any other discussion? Take a vote.
Needham,
Yes,
Yance,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Dunham,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Moses is absent. Larson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, H, consider adoption of ordinance 2023-13, amendment to title
MSG,
12.
13.
Oh,
12.
112.
Yes, 12.
You are,
Jumping ahead.
Right there.
you didn't do G yet. You crossed it off before
All
you did.
across the wrong one. I want to get through.
Move it along.
Okay, no problems. Consider adoption of 2023-12 amendment to title 11,
Yes.
business regulations of the village code of ordinances. I didn't know the X's and O's.
It looks like it was just a lot of updating again.
I'll make the motion.
Support.
Do we ever have pawnbrokers?
Yeah, Martin Fuller was a pawnbroker.
Yes, he was.
I actually asked the manager about that, if we could make it so that we didn't have any pawnbrokers in the village of Kalkaska, but according to the attorney, that would basically be discriminating. Is that right, discriminating against?
Because it's a legal business.
Yeah.
Well,
We
and
can
and
restrict
he
where they operate, but
applies
we
for
can't
a
tell them.
license, and if it's legal, we can't say no. And he meets all the requirements. Unfortunately.
Okay, any other discussion?
Yance,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Dunham,
Yes.
Miller,
yes.
Moses is absent. Needham,
Yes,
Larson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, I will do H. Consider adoption ordinance 2023-13, amendment to title of 13, general offenses of the village code of ordinances.
This was our meeting, correct, Eric?
Yes.
So we didn't change much. we actually raised the age, because in the ordinance it says persons over the age of 12 years old are not allowed inside the imagination station. We changed it to 15, and I think that's acceptable. 16-year-old.
And not only that, which one of us are gonna stand there and monitor it?
And spit on any street or sidewalk.
Yeah.
You can still.
Oh my God, you were right. You talked about the spitting on the sidewalk one. It's still in there. Oh my God.
Tuberculosis.
Are you making a motion?
You know what? When I was on the county, it
I'll
was the
make a
same
motion.
thing. It was still
I'll
in the
support.
county ordinance. Good. That is too funny.
Yeah, see, these are pretty old stuff we would.
Well, when I was on the county
Actually,
commissioner,
Aaron went through all of it and kind of pulled all of the.
county commissioner's the same thing. That same ordinance was on the county commissioner when I got on one. We got rid of that too.
Get a motion on it?
Yes, I got a motion.
You got it?
Yeah.
Any other discussion? Okay, roll call.
Bishop,
Vote.
Yes.
Dunham,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Moses is absent, Needham,
Yes.
Jans,
Yes.
Larson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, consider adoption of ordinance 2023-014, amendment to title 7, traffic code of village code of ordinance.
I'll make a motion.
I'll support.
Some
What are we doing?
updates.
Oh,
Yep.
Anybody got anything? Take a vote, then.
Dunham,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Moses is absent, Needham,
Yes.
Jans,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Larson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, J, consider adoption of resolution 2023-011, amendment to fee schedule.
Just dates on this one, right?
I would make a motion to adopt resolution 2023-011 amendment to fee schedule. Is this supposed to be -11 or is it supposed to be -15?
11, yes. 15 would have been in keeping with the ordinance.
Oh,
Support.
Diana, support?
Yes.
Thank you.
We reviewed this at finance earlier today, to reduce the food truck rental fee from $400 a month to $300 a month. Which, when, the DDA first started charging, it was $600 a month, and then they changed it to $300 a month. But we missed that and had it at $400 a month, thinking that we were reducing it. We want it to be $300 a month.
Am I missing where that is on here?
And the fee schedule at the very back.
The very last page.
I didn't see it, so I just want to make sure it's actually in writing.
Was that fair
Yes, that is absolutely correct.
description? And we were all in favor at
Well, and they're
finance.
paying their own water and electricity too.
We
So
accidentally raised it $100 a month.
they're paying their own water and electricity, so we feel that, or not electricity, but water and sewer, yeah, trash, so. But we think that's, for a month, that's reasonable.
Okay, maybe we'll get some more down there. Have a discussion. Take a vote.
Miller,
Yes.
Moses is absent, Needham,
Yes.
Jans,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Dunham,
Yes.
Larson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, Kay, consider approval of special event application for the ice rink already.
I'll make a motion.
I'll support.
Talk about putting that off the last minute.
Yeah. Any discussion on it?
I just had, so, I don't fly any airplanes, but I'm assuming on those dates that there aren't just novice airplane pilots wanting to get their planes out and flying. I just want to make sure that we're not gonna affect anybody like that.
The plane, the airport gets shut down.
That's what I figured. All right. That's my question.
Take a vote.
Moses is absent, Needham,
Yes.
Jans,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Dunham,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Larson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, L, consider adoption of resolution 2023-012 deficit elimination plan.
I would make a motion to adopt resolution 2023-012.
Second.
We also discussed this during finance today, and the part that we are really looking at is the explanation. This is something we have to send to the state to basically give a plan on how we will overcome our $16,000 deficit in the sewer fund this year. And the explanation is there. And we felt that it was accurate.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we don't have a choice, we just have to come up with a plan that satisfies them.
Needham,
Yes,
Jens,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Dunham,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Moses is absent, Larson. Larson,
Yes,
carries.
okay. M,
Oh,
was
yes.
added.
I forgot she had it on.
Discussion is about, looking into a meeting room, council room. Something different than this.
Support. A motion, make a motion
Right.
for where?
Do we need a motion to discuss?
to
We don't need
discuss.
a motion to discuss, do you? If it's just as a discussion,
No.
Square?
No, we just get to discuss.
I,
So,
I thought you were just making a committee, so the committee could, rather than do it at the full, I thought that's what we talked about, but
that's been discussed. We also, before the meeting, Nikki and I connected and, she had just had you can tell us the experience you had.
My work at a meeting at the pavilion, and there was about 62 of us in there, maybe a little less. And our owner stood up there and talked to all of us, and you could hear perfectly well.
you know what I'm thinking though?
What?
The number just hit me. The 62, you have a lot of sound absorption.
Yes, but even if it's only this many people,
Maybe.
if we're all sitting like this, you're gonna hear. You know what I mean?
But I think with the discussion I was talking to Mickey about that before the meeting, and I think the discussion that we had in the previous meeting with Damien, basically, who was fairly knowledgeable in sound,
Engineering.
engineering that he thinks it would work. He'd be willing to use his own time. Said it would cost us about $100 maybe for some accessory parts, but use his own time to put up some like blankets or sound dampening. I personally feel that I would like to try it at least a couple
I was gonna
times.
say that
Maybe
too.
when it gets a
Trial.
little here in the next month when it's a little bit warmer, put it out there to the community, so that everybody can see that we want to invite them to this beautiful space that we now basically own. Make it inviting, have some refreshments, maybe some cookies and coffee, just to have everybody try it out.
So we don't want to
That
spoil
if you get 20, 30 people in there, and also with the sound equipment that they want to do, I think that it's at least worth a try. I don't know how people feel about that, but I know that I've been to a couple meetings here when there was important topics and I had to sit on the floor in this room, and with people lined outside, and then we're talking about people hearing. I don't think somebody sitting over there is going to be able to hear real well. Just a brief discussion in here without any kind of speakers, and if we have speakers and sound, I'd at least like to try it.
I'd like to know how this is gonna affect you, Angie.
Oh, yeah.
How much work is that gonna make more for you?
Or we'd have to decide if we're gonna rent tables and chairs, because there's no tables and chairs in the building, unless you wanna sit up there.
There's picnic tables. There's picnic tables. That's it.
You see how many on the picnic tables?
How many did we say there are?
Stay.
15?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
There is 15.
Well, that's 75 people.
You're lucky you get 4 on the table.
They're supposed to set 6 though.
An option could be to just try it either for one council
Just to see
meeting
about
and just
sound.
use the picnic tables, just see how it goes with the sound, or at a upcoming special meeting that we have to call and try it. And
I think it should definitely be publicized that we're gonna have, and not a special meeting, because a special meeting's kind of just put out there, but it's something that we could plan What happened to all the chairs that we had for the old council chambers?
They're gone.
Those were 40 years old and not stackable.
And arms, no cloth or.
But before we invest in infrastructure, we
Yeah.
could just try the picnic tables
And see how
for
it
one
sounds.
meeting and see how the
But
sound
could we do our
goes.
finance here, so Angie doesn't have to log
I think committees.
all
like
that,
it's-
you know what I mean?
Well, sure, committee, but I think just a basic monthly council meeting, I think. Because we discussed doing it other places like the senior center, obviously they have chairs, the high school auditorium has chairs, but, again, I mean, I don't know, it's our space, it's transparent, literally transparent, you can see into it. It's convenient, I think, for more people than not, I don't know, it's just, I'd at least like to try one and see what happens.
You want a committee on that? Or you want just
Sounds
a
like
discussion?
Sounds like they just want to try it.
Yeah,
Sounds like they just want to try it. I don't
yeah,
think they need a
one
committee,
meeting,
just
just try it.
pick one and do it there.
Want to try it for next month, or you want to go the month after, or what?
Can we go to
June or July.
a
yeah.
motion from this discussion?
Well, you
To
can,
change
you
the
can just say you want to have, well,
I just have to post the
we
location.
don't even need a motion.
Oh, we don't need a
You just
motion?
need to say, we want to do it this month and
Should we do a warm month?
I would
June or July.
I would say June,
Yeah.
July's a little bit too
July might be hot.
vacation-y, maybe a little warmer, but June, I think, is,
It'll get you more time for, let people know too.
I'm gonna pull up my calendar, I'm not sure I'm here,
So
but
you just have to amend the
If it's just for,
schedule, correct?
not necessarily even amending the schedule, at first, if it's just this one meeting, I just have to post a meeting change for this
For
one
that
meeting.
location.
Correct, and then if they decide to change it, then yes, I would need to amend the whole schedule.
and then we as council people can promote it.
But Angie, we'll have our finance meeting here. That way you
Yeah,
don't have to
whatever's
log
convenient,
everything over there.
Whatever you decide on.
So at that finance meeting, you want to do a 4:30, so you have
You
time to
might
get
wanna
out
do
there.
that.
Yes.
You're not backing up.
Yeah, we might want to do that.
Yeah. I'd love-
Shit, like tonight, we took up our whole time too.
Pretty much.
So you want to do it for next month then?
June.
June.
I'm just making that change right now for everything.
Well, then you want to also keep in mind as we're thinking about this, even if we go there and we decide we want to move it, if you buy tables and chairs, where are you gonna store them? There's absolutely no
nowhere there.
storage
No,
place in
there's
that
nowhere
building,
in
none.
there. No.
You may just have to see if the sound is even viable.
That's why I said, if we decide
that's
that
the
those are
biggest,
things you gotta
biggest, yeah.
keep in consideration when you're doing it though, looking at it.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, anything else on that? Yes, sir.
I don't wanna push the board here at the village.
We need to,
Are you into brief public comments yet?
Yep, right after this one.
do you want to make,
I'm sorry.
remember we talked about, we need to see where we're at, if we want to make that resolution to be available at the next meeting. If we want to support that, their request.
Did you do this?
We don't have a resolution ready now to vote on, but if they want it, we could have Angie have it ready for the next meeting
Yeah.
to formally approve it.
If that's right, if you guys would take a poll on it now, we could change this map and then we could wait for your vote, whichever one that would be. And the language, you could vote on your language, just so we knew that the village of Kalkaska is behind the opposition.
Our meeting.
Well, you want to give us a couple minutes?
Sure. You want us to leave?
Okay.
No. We can tell you know your faces, you can say yes.
Well, that's good.
So we want to make a resolution.
Well, you want to know if we want to create a resolution. We need the board input. Not to word it for you, but basically we're looking, do we want Angie to create a resolution for the board to approve at next month's meeting?
I would like that.
I would, but my question is we only meet monthly, so we would not be meeting again until the second meeting.
No, that's why
in
he's saying we have a consensus tonight that we're gonna do a resolution at the next meeting, they at least put us on the list.
May. That gives you enough time?
Yes, if we knew you guys were committed to that, then yes, we could make the change on the map.
And what other places, other elected bodies have done is did I might not have the right term, like a roll call, yay, nay, whatever, and then the majority rules, and then the language is then voted on down.
Right,
Down the road.
and then it would be going on the minutes that it would be approved. Pending you guys see your resolution.
Well, so I can do that. I'd make a motion that we ask Angie, the clerk, to make a resolution to oppose the expansion at the Camp Grilling site
Support.
for the next meeting.
Is that Trent?
You got a second? You got a second?
That work?
Yes.
Yes, Trent.
You want to take a vote on that?
I sure will. Jens,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Dunham,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Moses is absent, Needham,
Yes.
Larson.
Yes.
Carries. That will be sent.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
You all set?
The next time we need it, we better be number one.
Well, Bear Lake was number one, and we,
Okay, two.
well, we ended up going to
Bear Lake
Crawford.
makes sense.
Yeah, but yeah, I know the commissioners.
Out of curiosity, is all the property in Kalkaska, or is it Crawford, Kalkaska, or what's the split?
It goes into Blue Lake Township, it goes into Orange, Oliver, Garfield.
It goes into Blue Lake Township?
Yeah, there's a section of it that goes up into the north part of Blue Lake
It
Township,
goes down to Pioneer, it goes down to
Norwich Township.
Norwich
Sauk.
Township,
Oh.
Roscommon,
It's in, so
Spread
it's
over down
large.
Montmorency, Otsego. It goes all the way from Garland Golf Course, west, drops down and through Roscommon, almost to the southern end of Houghton Lake.
Jeez.
It's huge, 250 square miles is huge.
Yeah, wow.
That's a quarter of Kalkaska County,
Yeah.
over a quarter, almost a third.
Yeah, it's incredibly huge is what this is. It's just unrealistic, you know. And their expectations, they were asking for literally.
Well, I'm like, you know, never opposed anything, like in the beginning, when they wanted to close them down, I think they were there first before the neighbors were, but this is kind of imposing their way.
You all set on this
Yes, ma'am.
resolution? Okay.
Thank you
Anybody
again
got
for your
anything else?
support.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, my God, make it quick. This lady over here.
I'm not sure where the best place to
Go ahead.
address the council, is it right here at the doorway or?
You're-
Okay, my name is Kat Pay, I'm with the Ice Band Come With Challenge, and we just want to say thank you, once again for letting us come out. It's an amazing community, it's our 34th race. Thank you guys, we appreciate so much. Alexis Bremmer's here, myself as well, our operations director. We do assure you that we do work with the airport to make sure that we also try to keep our riders off of the airport property when the airport is not closed, so that they're not
I think
riding
it's
on
a
the
great
runway.
start location rather than, well.
We do try to share that. So we just really came to say thank you once again. It is a pleasure to work with the village and we appreciate the continued partnership.
Qantas is gonna do dinner and breakfast.
We appreciate that.
Thank you. Anybody got anything else?
Yeah.
Very quick.
I would just like to, regarding the Camp Grayling thing, I took the time to watch the Camp Grayling expansion, Not One More Acre, on YouTube today. And if anybody was interested in watching it and possibly sharing that with their friends and family, it was only like 17 minutes long. It was.
What's it called? Not One More Acre?
Not One More Acre, yeah, on the Grayling expansion, and it was really cool to watch, and well put together, but it was.
It's a good.
It's a good video.
Yeah, it was professionally done by a guy, RT, who's his name,
Out of Chicago.
yeah, out of Chicago.
Anything else? Anything else? Go ahead.
I do. This is just a thank you to our Department of Public Safety. I don't have many reasons to call the police in my life, but I had to last week, and the non-emergency number and Officer Mike McCormick was very helpful and very professional, and I was very grateful for that, so.
Well, I'll work on that, that'll never happen. Just kidding, but thank you.
Okay, just a reminder for everybody, National Trout Festival's coming up at the end of the month. Make sure you get your pins on, those will be, good for discounts during Trout Festival. There'll be discount, like I know there's $1 off a big cup of coffee, and there's money off at Trout Town, and there's like 20 of them, I don't know what they all are, but your pins will be a discount. Make sure you visit the Trout House, get your vouchers for the rides, and we'll see you all out there, and pray for good weather.
Are they doing wristbands this year?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, this will be our 3rd year, we've been very successful.
Go ahead.
Trent has more.
One more.
Resolution.
I believe
it might be more directed towards Public Works, but I was curious if there has been any talk or discussion about a spring leaf pickup, as we were discussing how well received it was in the fall, and to see if there's any discussion on dates or possibly doing it again in the spring like we talked about last year.
It's not budgeted for.
I'm sorry?
It is not budgeted for.
That was a good deal.
I would like to figure out something before fall though, to get it into the budget.
Was the fall budgeted for? No,
Not
it
yet,
wasn't.
but let's hope we have more revenue than we can.
We can do that out of the general, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're expecting light reimbursements?
Bob, you got a button over there, like last call button with the lights? or
That's
what?
a sign.
I know,
Go.
I noticed that.
Anybody else? That's it.
It's probably the wind.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you, John, for taking time to come over.
You like that one?
Yeah, we're going to talk to you tonight.